So this video is a lessons learned video about the cybersecurity ransomware incident that was conducted for Project 3 of the class CYB670. Things that we'll cover in this video is work performed, areas the incident response team was effective, and areas that need improvement. So the incident, background for the incident to provide is that it was a ransomware attack that was executed through a Excel file. Once the computer was infected with the Excel file, the user activated scripts within the Excel file on an HR machine within the network that then downloaded scripts from and executables from a off remote site outside of the network. The attack began by searching the ARP for location of servers and computers within the network. Once those were found, the files were placed on the server, and then key documents were encrypted on the user's computer. Areas where the incident response team was effective, we then took that file that was corrupted and infected, and we took that and put it on a virtual machine to conduct an experiment and basically sandbox or contain the attack vector, and then we took that and then replicated the attack to find out where it was going. Areas that the team was very effective was that we found the reach back to using Wireshark. We tracked the network traffic as it reached back to pull the executable files, and one of the things that we were very effective at is finding out where they were storing or pulling the files from. Once we searched that URL, we were able to pull back instructions that were on that drive where the malicious executables were located. Once we found the instructions, we were then able to deconstruct how the information was being stored and what was being done to unlock the computer. We were able to replicate that based on the instructions we were given through a series of cryptographic tools and stenographic tools, and we were able to pull the information we needed to be able to get the code to unlock it. Once we were able to do that, we were then able to find where the file was stored on the web server, or the internal server, so that we were able to remove it from there and completely delete it. Areas that need improvement. Obviously, the number one glaring thing that needs improvement, without a doubt, is user training. User training is always the weakest link with any network. While the most important thing it's a balancing act between maintaining the ability for users to have access to the systems on the network, while at the same time still maintaining enough security to protect the network. Largely, this is going to come from user training and user understanding of how the network works. The controls that we could improve is understanding how this attack was conducted. The biggest thing that this attack did is once it was established on the network, it started sending out GET commands to pull information. These are commands that were executed without, they went right through all the firewalls, and there was no inspection of the files coming back in. Another way we could do this with the controls and work this out is to limit traffic to this site using either an IDS or an IPS. The other thing we could do is provide an inline IPS in the network. Network segmentation would also help with this, where if we took the network and in between our internal network where the users are operating, we put an external network that has an inline IDS that it decrypts and examines all traffic as it flows across that network prior to coming into the internal network. While we could use an IDS or an IPS like Snort to block this specific website, the other thing we could do is block unknown executables. This executable was very generically named. It was like ransomware.exe, but we could block all executables from running that are not known programs or known or authorized programs on the network. Additionally, the other thing that could happen is that we could ensure that the operating systems are only updating and pulling patches for approved programs within the network. So this way, the programs are not running unknown or undesired executables. This particular vulnerability would not benefit from a patch. Like, there's no patch you can do to prevent malware. This particular vulnerability was completely and utterly done based on user interaction and their inability to properly manage their own internal security features. A couple things that could be done to fix this is, like I said, already talking about the IDS and the IPS to ensure network traffic is scanned prior to coming in. The other thing is an acceptable use policy. It's highly recommended that we take this time and review our users' acceptable use policy, review what they're allowed to do, and how often their training and acceptable use policy must be conducted. It would be beneficial to invest also in a user training program that is conducted either on a quarterly, semi-annual, or annual basis based on the amount that we could spend on such a program and based on the amount and requirements and types and frequencies of these attacks.